Namaskar. The topic is power and spirituality, or spirituality and power. I was getting some interest in the topic of education, and I went to visit one very original teacher, pedagogue. He had a very special school in the south of Russia. So I went, his name is Shitinin. So we got audience with him. I wanted to know about education. And then I didn't have much chance to speak because he started to speak and then it was like a monologue for 1 hour. But he was speaking by the way of like sutras. He would just say some statement, some thesis. And that thesis you can think about it and then you can really explore that idea. So 1 hour he was just, shooting these many ideas at us. And then one idea he said, every healthy person strives to achieve power. That was very fresh idea. It was very refreshing idea, actually. Because there is an understanding, there is a belief that once you turn your face to God, you turn your back to the world. And when you turn your face to the world, you turn your back to God. So in that way, we sort of divide existence into two extreme opposites. But healthy personality is when all those opposites, they are integrated in you. When this synthesis is achieved. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. When you are not rejecting any part of yourself, but you have accepted every part of yourself and made every part of yourself to serve your evolutionary purpose. And what is the purpose? The first tantric guru, first tantric master, Sadashiva, he said, Atma mokshartam jagat hitaya cha. It means we live for the attainment of liberation, spiritual liberation, and for the service to the entire universe. So, what about integration? How to integrate? My spiritual master, one time, he was with the monks, with the disciples. And then he said, look, there is a saint. The saint is a devotee. He is pure, unblemished, spotless. No attachment to the world. He will give everything for the welfare of human beings and everybody. And then there is a king. The king is very skillful administrator. He knows how to punish. He knows how to reward. He is good with money. He creates the abundance. So, whom do you think we need? Whom do you think the humanity needs right now? So then the monks, of course, what they say? They say, oh, saint, of course. Then the guru say, okay, king. Then the guru said, you're listening, but you're not listening. I'm trying to teach you, but you're not listening. We need two in one. The saint have to strive to be a king, and the king has to strive to be a saint. So that integration of spiritual and material have to happen. The part of devotion, the part of love, means that there is only one important thing for you. Really, truly, there is only one important thing. Like, who said? I think Rabindranath Tagore, he said, in the life, which is lasting only half of the breath. Don't plan for anything except for love. So that is the path of devotion. That's the path of spirituality. But then there is a great tragedy. When the spiritual people, they inspired to follow the spiritual path, dedicate themselves to their spiritual practices, they have the tendency to leave the world and meditate in the caves, in the Himalayas, go to the monasteries, hide there, be there, and dedicate themselves to spiritual pursuit. But this society needs enlightened leadership. So, what about power? Is power not dangerous? Will power not bring you away from spirituality? Power is dangerous. It says that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Once you have power, you have ability to misuse the power. Actually, you know what is yama niyama? For example, ahimsa. Can you practice ahimsa if you don't have power? Like if you live in a forest, you don't have much scope to practice ahimsa. A little bit, not harm animals and plants. But ahimsa means you have the power to harm, but you don't harm. That's what is spiritual practice. You have the power, but you don't misuse the power. But when you gain the power, you have the ability also to misuse. Also, power is one sort of drug. It's like a heroin addiction. Very difficult to become sober from that. Once you tasted power, then you want more and more and more. And to renounce it, it's not easy. Not everybody can do. So that attachment for the power is dangerous. It is very slowly, it just envelops you. You know, become Darth Vader. That's the ultimate goal of life, becomes the pursuit of power. Many, many examples are there. And then also, when you are in pursuit of power, then you become spiritually shallow, because there is no time for internal work. All the time you have to work in the world, because it is in the world, the power is the thing of the world. It is not a thing of spirituality. So you work in the world to achieve more and more. So you deplete yourself. Slowly you become much more interested into the worldly activity, and you deplete yourself. You become empty inside. So these are the great dangers of power. And what are the dangers of spirituality? The dangers of spirituality is it is said that if you follow the path of materialism, you go into darkness. But if you follow the path of spirituality, you go into deeper darkness. So the real path is actually in between, is the path of integration. You follow the path of spirituality, but at the same time you live in the world and you fulfill your duties in the world. But this word duty is the key. You renounce the desire, but you do as a duty. There is also a very striking story about one disciple and our guru. The guru once called the disciple. He said, "Will you do if I ask you something?" He said, "Of course, you are my guru." Then he said, "Okay, I ask you not to sing." So he was very good singer. And then he just it's like the most important, the greatest joy of my life, now you are taking away from me. And he said, "Okay, I will not sing." So he fulfilled the guru's wish. Everybody is singing, and he wants to correct them. He wants to sing, properly. He wants to be heard. He wants to be seen. But he abstains. He doesn't do it. And slowly he becomes pacified internally, accepts, and then let go of it. And then Guru invites him. He said, now I want you to sing for God. And then he started to sing with the tears. No, he gave up. He thought that for the whole life Guru told him not to sing. So he gave it up. He accepted. He got peace inside. And now Guru asked him, sing, but not for yourself. Not to be seen, not to be heard, but sing for him. So he sings with the tears. I think this is the essence of the spiritual teaching. Also in Bhagavad Gita it says the same, that you do everything as a duty, as a spiritual duty. So if you want to serve the humanity, serve the planet, serve the civilization, and that is our spiritual duty. Naturally, if I'm weak, I cannot do much. So I need to become stronger. But not because I want the more and more power and influence, but because I want to serve. But this path is very sharp. You can, at any moment, you can lose sight of the real goal and get enveloped in darkness. So everyone has to be vigilant, be honest, see our motivations, see inside what we feel inside. People cannot see it, but we can see what I am thinking, what I am doing. Sometimes apparently very arrogant person with a big ego is actually a very humble person. He is a humble servant of God. But sometimes apparently very humble person, he is very arrogant. He likes to show the world he is humble, but inside not. So people cannot say what we are, but we can see what we are. If we look very honestly, with a keen desire to know what is my motivations. And key is really it is very important to do your spiritual practice regularly. If you do, then spiritual priority is always high. So whatever it is in life, doesn't matter how important projects I am doing. It is important still to do practice twice a day, morning and evening. Then you are following on that spiritual path. You are not falling. And what are the types of power that we need to develop? 4 types. Productive power. If you give to society more than you take from society, that's how you can serve. It is the worker power. Produce things. Develop your skills. And with those skills, serve the society. Managerial power or leadership power. Ability to organize people, to manage people, to organize processes. Another way, another side of the power. Then intellectual power, the ability to convince, the ability to transform the understanding of the people, the ability to create narratives is another very important power. And then material power, financial power, the ability to create for other people access to the material objects that they need for their life. So through all of those abilities, you can serve society, you're becoming more influential, you're becoming more powerful. So that's 2 sadhanas of Tantra. One sadhana, you elevate yourself, your consciousness. Another sadhana, you overcome your limitations in the world through service. This is the integrated personality. This is the way to happiness. There is no darkness in us. We have to integrate every part of ourselves and make every part of ourself serve the higher purpose. I want to remind you that also this summer we are having a retreat in yoga monastery. You can come and you can elevate yourself very high. So please come. You will find all the information in the link below. There will be also some more retreats, one in Germany, one in England, and here in Sweden will be very good. And then also you can follow our social networks. You can subscribe to our channels in Telegram, in Instagram, and you can be in touch all the time. If you do that, that's one very clever thing to do, because you connect yourself with the spiritual people. That means your mind will always receive some impulse to awaken. And with that, by virtue of that connection, you will elevate yourself. So, if you have something to say along these lines, on that topic, you write also in the comments. So, not different, together. Darkness and light becomes effulgence, becomes brilliance. The world and spirituality, they will flow together. That's the way designed by the ancient masters. Ancient master like Sadashiva, he has designed that way. See you at the retreat. Namaskar.